Hello and welcome. My name is Justin Mayersick. With me, I have our team members of our Group 6 -2 project. That is Raisa De Vinagrazia, Ryan Griffin, myself, Josh McMillan, and Jacob Sweat. Today we'll be going over our project on our project ID GW1-P6-2, and that is for financial news headline sentiment analysis. This project has been over the course of the semester, and we would like to go ahead and present it now. So with that, I will turn it over to Raisa to begin the summarization of our project.
Thanks, Justin. To start, let me give you a brief introduction of what our project is all about, starting with the project scope and overview. So the objective of this project is to extract financial news headlines from various online sources. The sources can be predefined or it can be from user input. So next is to store the data in a database for future analysis to show related data trends over a specific period of time. So with the data collected, deliver a sentiment analysis using artificial intelligence to deliver results and gain deeper insights into financial sector news headlines. So here's what our team has achieved throughout this project. So each milestone represents a significant step forward in our project, bringing us closer to our goal of creating an effective financial sentiment analysis platform. So our team started a project by focusing on RSS feed scraping. So during this stage, our team developed an RSS feed parser in Python to collect financial news headlines. The data is then normalized to accept a wide variety of sources. This stage is the foundation of our data acquisition process, making sure we have access to relevant data. So next, we established the MongoDB database, which serves as the backbone of our project. This involved creating two collections, one for source data and another for RSS feed data. So with MongoDB in place, we ensured efficient data storage and retrieval, setting the stage for further analysis. So we then shifted our focus to integrating sentiment analysis into our workflow. The data is sent to the Hugging Face API to parse as it is collected and store it for quick reporting. We then hosted the application via Streamlit to provide a no-cost infrastructure. So to provide a detailed explanation of the milestones, let me hand it over to Joshua for milestone 1.
All right. Hello. Yes, so just to go over milestone one, we essentially had two main objectives uh, to accomplish this phase of the project. First objective was to source the data that we were going to use, the financial news headlines, and the second objective was to identify the scrapers that we were going to use to parse through the data. Um, Essentially, how the code works in this milestone is here's a script within the Python code that pulls the data from RSS feeds. We use the Python package called feed parser to do this. Um, and what feed parser does is it processes the data and normalizes it into a standardized format within the script prior to the data being stored into the database that we used. Um, Prior to creating the database, we did save it to a CSV file, but that's essentially how the code worked in the first milestone.
So for milestone 2, the objective was to create a database and store the results from milestone 1. So we used MongoDB as the database. We're using the MongoDB Atlas hosting service to host the database. That is a cloud host. We're currently using the free tier. It's the M0 tier for the Atlas. We chose MongoDB and hosting it in Atlas because it's a MongoDB native hosting service, and it's free. It allows us to scale. If this was a production application, we would be able to scale it out. We used a Python module called PyMongo, which we used to integrate into the RSS feed parser. PyMongo is very simple, just allows us to connect to the Mongo database natively inside of the Python code. So inside of Mongo, we actually have two databases. We have a development database and a production database. And in each database, we have two collections. We have an RSS sources collection and a feed data collection. So the sources are pulled down, the code processes the sources. Once it's done processing, it uploads the resulting feeds back up into MongoDB for retrieval later on. The advantage of hosting it in Atlas, it gives us the ability to scale, gives us the ability to, if we need to select multiple different geographical regions, such as Azure West, Azure East, makes it very easy for us to scale the database, just going in and selecting a different subscription, and then we get access to those various pieces.
Milestone 3, in short, was the milestone of the UI, AI, and trend analysis. To get the trend analysis, we use a model provided by Hugging Face to analyze financial headlines. What that model did was it allowed us to send a news headline and have a sentiment return. The sentiment options were positive, negative, or neutral. And from there, every single sentiment that we were returned, we then appended to its record in MongoDB. The analysis portion of the app was the UI portion was mostly built through Streamlit, which Streamlit also allowed us to host the tool for free. In the UI, the user has the option to search for keywords, for date ranges, and to define their level of search accuracy. We use a package called Fuzzy Wuzzy to do a fuzzy search. What that allowed us to do was to account for like typos, misspellings, things of that nature. And lastly, we took all of the data that we collected throughout milestones 1, 2, and 3, and we visualized them using a Python package called matplotlib.pyplot to really like look for trends over time. We did that by using a bar chart and a line graph, just to see like if over time, if the trend of the sentiment is it increasing, is it decreasing, etc. And lastly, at the very bottom, there's an option to view all the raw data.
Thank you all. So for now, we will actually talk about the deliverables of the project. So the summary of what we've already discussed is that we had 3 milestones. In the first milestone, we talked about the feed scraping, being able to get those sources off of the internet, and make sure that we're able to have a tool that can scrape either on demand, on a schedule, or whatever the user may need to do. In the second milestone, we really focused on the connection over to a database. We did select MongoDB as it was the best tool for our project. And what it does really is that we're able to run the code within Python, which is the code solution that we did select, and make sure that it has a really good integration into that database. So through PyMongo, we were able to accomplish that and get a really good integration into that database. The third milestone, again, Python forward, we focused on an AI sentiment analysis integration using a module through Hugging Face, and we were able to find a tool that really focuses on the financial news and financial sentiment, get a sentiment of that and show it directly within the interface itself. For that, I would like to turn it over and show you exactly how the code actually works in real time.
So here's how the code works. First, we have to have a collection in MongoDB. So for in that collection, we'll have all of our sources, so CNN, CBS, etc. And so what the code does, using feed parser, it pulls those sources from MongoDB and loops through each one to extract their news headlines. After each headline is extracted, is then sent to Hugging Face in order to get the sentiment. And so at the end of step 3, we should have like the date published, the headline, the source, but also the sentiment. So is it a positive, neutral, or negative headline? And lastly, we take all the information that we've gathered and we save it to MongoDB. Um, and also, we have some normalization rules to remove duplicates. So if we have already scraped that record and already have that sentiment, then we don't add it to MongoDB again because we understand that that could skew your analysis. And lastly, after all duplicates are removed, records are uploaded into MongoDB. So an example of everything that we've spoke about is this. Um, Justin, please click play. So this is our tool, and you see here that I've selected the production environment, and I've opted to not upload new sources. However, if I did select the yes button, I would have the option to upload new sources to Mongo. And so by looking at this, you see that it's connected to Mongo, but also you can see that it's extracting for various sources. And so for each source, it's pulling all of the news headlines from their RSS feed, in addition to sending it to Hugging Face in order to get the sentiment. This can be a timely process. We have a lot of sources, and it may be a busy news day. So it may take 2 or 3 minutes to run. So for the sake of demonstration, Justin, please fast forward. Cool. So we can see here that we have 2 sources remaining. Justin, I believe you need to click play, please. There we go. So sorry about that. So now we have 1 source remaining, 0, soon to be 0. And in a second, you'll see that I scroll down and you see that it's removing duplicates. So here we are. And so in this section, it's removing all of the duplicates. So we actually have all of those records that we scraped. We only found 2 new ones, and it saves it to Mongo. So now we analyze. So if I search for the keyword auto, it will return any news headline that has a word similar to auto based on the search accuracy values. And so low is low confidence, high is high confidence, medium is in between. And so well, the example is a little quick. Justin, can you fast forward like 10 seconds, please? Right here, perfect. So I was able to search by like date and accuracy, and after a quick search, you saw I had around 400 news headlines. There was a bar chart by sentiment. There is a line chart, sentiment over time, and there's also options to view the raw data. The goal and what we're trying to achieve here is to see is how are the sentiments of news headlines over time and like the frequency of them. We hope to just spot trends.
Thank you very much, Ryan. So yeah, that was a great analysis of the tool actually in action. We did use a lot of sources on this, most of them free and open source. There is a list located over here on this slide, which will give you both a little bit of an analysis of the sources we use, as well as links over to those source pages as well. We do like to thank you for joining our presentation today. Again, my name is Justin Mayersick. We have Raisa de Vinagrazia, Jacob Sweat, Josh McMillan, Ryan Griffin, and um, I'm sorry. Yes, the 5 members are our team. I'm sorry. Um, Thank you very much for joining us today, and have a great day.